On today's episode of What the Fuck Did I Just Make? Guys, I can't even tell you what it was. Like, I mean, let me get into it. I lit up my cute candle, got up my fucking muffin tray for this, because I wanted to make maple syrup muffins, okay? And so I Googled that, and I wanted a recipe because I've never done this before. I've never worked with maple syrup like this before. And there were some pretty good recipes, I'm not gonna lie, from very reliable sources. However, I didn't have most of the core ingredients for this recipe, and I wasn't gonna go to the shop and buy all those ingredients. So I decided to go to the 6th page of Google search and find this recipe by this person called Frank. Frank, if you're watching or listening to this, I hope you have a really horrible day, because you ruined my day. You ruined it. I trusted you. I thought you were going to be reliable, but you being on the 6th page of Google search was already a red flag that I chose to ignore. That's on me. Anyways, I whisked up those dry ingredients, set them aside. That was the fine part. It was this part that was a little concerning. It called for 1 egg, which was unusual to me, but I was like, you know what? Frank probably knows what he's talking about. And then in went the star of the show, which was the maple syrup. Now, the maple syrup was the only sweetener in this entire recipe, which was a little weird for me because I'm so used to working with sugar. But I was like, you know what? Maple syrup is pretty sweet. So Frank probably knows what he's talking about. He doesn't know shit, I'll tell you that. Anyways, whisked up the egg and the maple syrup, added in the milk, added in the neutral oil, added in the vanilla essence, and I whisked away. It was fine up until this point. Is when I started to add the dry ingredients, and I was like, whoa. That's a lot of dry ingredients for this little tiny little bowl of wet ingredients. Like, it just wasn't adding up. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna trust the process. I could feel the batter getting thick already, and I wasn't even halfway done with my dry ingredients, guys. And it was by this part where the whisk was giving up on me. So I had to just retire the whisk and bring in the spatula. And at this point, look at that. So I started to fold this in, and it wasn't it, guys. It wasn't it. It was so dry. It was so hard to move. It looked like I was making bread. It wasn't giving muffin at all. At all. And somewhere around this point, I think I tasted the batter, and that shit was disgusting. It wasn't sweet at all. So I decided to blend up some sugar and add that in there for some sweetness, because Frank is deluded and he thinks that maple syrup is going to sweeten it. Anyways, I had to also like make the batter a little runny. So I decided to add some more maple syrup, and it was still pretty thick and dry. I wasn't fully convinced with this part, so I decided to mix some milk and powdered sugar. That looked a little questionable, but I promise you it was just milk and sugar. And somewhere around this point, I was like, okay, you know what? It's coming together. It looks good. It looks promising. I can work with this. I mean, look at that, right? It looked good. I decided to pour that into the muffin tray. I'm just going to speed that up for you guys. And yeah, this was absolutely the most disgusting thing I've ever made, guys. And I mean, I was pissed. I was so pissed. But I didn't want to throw it away. I didn't have the heart to do that. So what did I do? I went and I bought more ingredients. Okay? Ingredients I didn't have to fix this. cut these up in quarters, and I decided to make a quick custard that I could just basically soak that. I'm not gonna call them muffins. Guys, it tasted raw and cooked at the same time. I don't even know how that was possible. And somehow it wasn't even sweet. I don't know what the fuck is happening. But you know what? It's fine. We're learning together. Threw in some sugar. This was a very basic recipe. I just, at this point, I wasn't having it. I was pissed. I just wanted to be done with this. It's hot where I live, and I wasn't having it. But I was really pissed off because, you know what? I didn't want to go and buy more ingredients. I wanted to work with what I had. And Frank, honestly, thank you, Frank. Whisk this up. You can tell how pissed I am. I'm like literally whisking like there's no tomorrow. I think I was really upset because, I was running out of some things and I just had to work with what I had. I didn't know how this was going to turn out because all I wanted was maple muffins, guys. All right, so I tried to evenly distribute this as much as I could. I cut these up in quarters and then I poured in the custard mixture. Now, I was supposed to let this sit for a good 15 to 20 minutes so that whatever the fuck that is would be able to soak up some of that custard. I didn't have the patience. So I just decided to turn them around and pour it where I thought it was dry. And then I popped that in the oven. Oh, before that I did throw in some slivered almonds just to save. Because if it wasn't going to taste good, at least it was going to look good. Anyways, pop that in the oven and that was the final result. Does it look the best? No. Did it taste good? Not really. But it wasn't all that bad. I saved the recipe. Frank, I hope your pillow stays warm forever. I didn't like it as much, but apparently my mom ate it with her oats and then took it to work, and some of her colleagues liked it. So I guess I won. Anyway, stay tuned for the next recipe, guys. Bye!